From unlikely corners of the political spectrum, calls for reform echoed, signalling a shift in public consciousness, with maps being a rallying cry for justice. And as for Eddie Ellis, he dedicated his life to alternative justice initiatives. He died in 2014, aged 72, knowing that his idea, an informal survey from 30 years ago, had helped to spark a movement in genuine prison reform.
That episode of Uncharted was produced by Lauren Armstrong Carter.
You've probably got a list of things your child needs for uni. Pans, cutlery, sheets, duvet, towels, you know. But this is a little reminder that they'll also need a TV licence to be covered to watch all the TV channels, live TV on streaming services and BBC iPlayer. On the downside, it's one more thing on your list. On the upside, you can continue to enjoy your favourite shows together on the family group chat. And they won't be bringing it home to be washed either. To find out more, search TV licence uni.
BBC News at 2 o'clock. The BBC understands that the Prisons Minister, Lord Timpson, is holding urgent talks with the company which supplies electronic monitoring tags for offenders, after several said they'd been let out under the government's early release programme without one. The government has blamed Serco for the delays. Serco said they're working hard to clear the backlog. Harry Farley is our political correspondent.
One offender released last week under the government scheme told my colleague they should have tagged me, but they haven't, and it means I can go where I choose. And this particular offender says they will abide by the curfew conditions imposed, but they go on, I know people who aren't doing that because they haven't been tagged. It's a disaster waiting to happen.
The leader of the militant group Hezbollah, Hassan Nasrallah, is expected to speak shortly after more than 30 people were killed across Lebanon as pages and walkie-talkies used by his organisation exploded. Hezbollah has blamed Israel. There are fears the conflict could soon escalate. The Bank of England is keeping interest rates at 5%. The decision comes as prices continue to rise slightly faster than the bank's target, with the latest inflation rate remaining at 2.2%. More former Harrods employees have contacted the BBC saying they were assaulted by Mohammed Al-Fayed when he owned the luxury department store. Mr Al-Fayed, who died last year at the age of 94, has been accused of rape by 5 former staff members. The claims come in a BBC documentary which says the store helped cover up the allegations. The current owners of Harrods say they're utterly appalled by the reports. New figures show that around 1 in 5 train passengers arriving at major cities in England and Wales is forced to stand during the morning rush hour. The Department for Transport revealed data showing rail passenger numbers and crowding on weekday services from last autumn. The wildlife broadcaster Tony Soper has died aged 95. He helped set up the BBC's Natural History Unit in the 1950s. BBC News.
In 1981, a 27-year-old man died in Northern Ireland's Longkesh prison. He'd recently been elected an MP and was campaigning for political prisoner status by refusing food. In quarter of an hour, we tell the ballad of Bobby Sands. Now, though, it's the Archers and Jolene is admiring her pie.
You stay there, kitty cat, because this is ever so hot. Oh, now then. What do you think of this little beauty?
Hello. I thought you'd already gone to see Fallon.
I'm heading off shortly. What do you reckon, Kenton, eh? 10 out of 10, I'd say.
Oh, well, yeah. Smells really, how to describe it, eh, Ketty? Incredibly sort of appley.
Appley?
And at the same time, incredibly, cheesy.
Perfect for the Bulls' prize-winning apple and cheese pie, then.
Well, unless mine wins, yeah.
It don't matter whose pie comes out on top, remember?
No, I know. No, either way, it's a big splash for our socials.
That's right.
Yeah.
Although what?
Well, Jolene, it sounded a bit like you were asking Wayne for baking tips earlier.
I may have mentioned something in passing.
Yeah, and?
He said he didn't want to take sides. I explained there was zero competitiveness involved here, but
But
he walked off laughing.
well, he did the same to me.
What, you asked him and all?
Yeah, well, obviously, he is our chef.
Anyhow, Ruth dropped by with another box of apples.
Oh, great. Well, plenty to practice with before Sunday, then.
Exactly.
Good afternoon to you. Hello again, I'm Jules Buckley. The M4 heading west into Wales on towards the Prince of Wales Bridge, still queuing in towards the roadworks. Of course, that has a knock-on effect for the M49, queuing northbound as you make your way up towards the M4. The M5 southbound heading towards the M4 towards junction 15. There's emergency repairs just getting underway. A lane closure put in place, but it's coping fairly well so far. A55 looking clear across the North Wales coast. If you're heading to the trains in Cardiff, Transport for Wales have now suspended services between Cardiff Central and Penarth. There's a broken down train there. Back with more for you at 2:30.
BBC.
Oh, well, it's very pale, which might also suggest a claggy bottom.
Rubbish.
Well, it's easily done, love. You get too much juice from the apples.
I have not got a claggy bottom. Anyhow, there's a cheese crust, so you don't want it burning.